Hi, my name is ZLAND, and this is my story. As I share my story, y'all can watch me play with the ball. Okay, let's get started. I was born in Missouri, and shortly after my family moved to Colorado. I remember being a happy kid, for the most part. I played soccer, went to hockey games with my dad, went on outdoor adventures with my mom, etc. That was all super fun, but I do remember feeling pretty lonely, which wasn't so fun. I remember sitting on the blacktop at recess one day, watching all the other kids play, when my teacher walked up to me and asked if I was okay. I think I told her I was okay, but I know that I really wasn't. I'm not sure why I felt like this. I guess I was just shy. The one social highlight that I can think of from elementary school was when I ate an expired pretzel and made the whole lunch table laugh. That was pretty cool. I think my childhood was full of happy experiences, but I wouldn't say I was truly happy, you know? A big part of that was seeing my parents fight pretty often and not being able to help. I just didn't know how to fix it. I remember being told that God would fix my parents' problems, but no matter how often our family went to church, I didn't notice any help coming from God. The summer before 5th grade, my mom, siblings, and I went back to Missouri and lived with my grandparents. My parents wound up getting divorced that summer, so my siblings and I started school that year at a tiny rural Missouri school. I didn't like school one bit, as I was still just as socially awkward as before. But hey, at least I was quote-unquote cool enough to say none of the above when a girl asked me to date her. I think most people only really liked me at that school because I was smart and would help them with their schoolwork. I remember always trying to fit in and doing whatever it took to do so. I would spend 20 minutes on my phone trying to get the perfect picture of myself with all the coolest clothes. I remember cussing for the first time in front of this girl so that she would quote-unquote fall in love with me. I remember getting Snapchat even though my mom didn't really want me to. You get the idea. None of this worked though. I still felt lonely at school, and I still felt sad about God not solving my parents' marriage problems. Despite all that, I absolutely loved living out in the country with my grandparents. Every fall we would hunt. Every winter we would go gather firewood. Every spring we would do more hunting and fishing. We spent a ton of time outdoors, and I loved the freedom that I had away from the stress of school and socializing. I also grew a lot closer to my family, especially my mom. This led me to choosing to get baptized as a middle schooler. I got baptized thinking it was my ticket to heaven and would fix everything. But I didn't really get it, at all. I said I fully accepted Jesus in my heart, but looking back at it, I realized it was all talk. Around this time is when things started going downhill at a faster rate. I was introduced to porn at about 12 and quickly became addicted to it, along with the sexual sins such as masturbation that came along with it. This sucked, really sucked. I still kept up with all the happy activities as I always did, but at the end of the day, I still wasn't truly happy. And because I was still lacking a true relationship with God, I blamed a lot of my problems with addiction and loneliness on Him. This cycle repeated for the rest of middle school when one day my parents decided to get remarried and our family moved back to Colorado. I started high school off pretty shy as I always was, although I did make a couple of friends. Looking back on it though, I think I only really had friends because I would make funny but super inappropriate jokes all the time. Around this time is when my parents split up a second time, which made me sad once again, blamed it on God, but I was kind of over it at this point. Around this time is when I discovered mountain biking, which I really loved. It was a perfect sport for me and my love for the outdoors. I was still struggling with the same addictions though, where it sucked. So, freshman year came and went, then COVID hit. And when I tell you sophomore year extra sucked, I mean sophomore year extra sucked. All this free time meant more time to lay in my bed on my phone, addicted. My social life virtually disappeared, and all I had time for was myself. With that, I decided it was my time to get rich. I came up with an invention called Mask Attach that helped people wear masks to protect from COVID. I put all my energy into it and hoped to become super successful. My motives were flawed though. I said I was doing it to help people, but really, I was doing it to get rich. That business ended up quote-unquote failing, which sent me even further down the downward spiral of sadness and addiction that lasted for months. All I really did was play video games and cheat on my schoolwork, while I wasn't indulging in sexual sin. Throughout the later months of 2020 and into 2021, I remember meeting this girl online and thinking it was my ticket to happiness. I'd only known her for maybe 2 days, and I had already told some of my friends that I met the girl I was going to marry. She stopped talking to me after about a week. Then I was super sad because I wasn't rich, didn't have a girlfriend, and nothing I did made me happy for more than 10 minutes. It all felt so temporary. I remember feeling angry at God because He didn't answer my insincere and selfish prayers. But hey, at least I said I was a Christian every once in a while. Then came my junior year of high school. It was great getting back in person and seeing all my old friends. I definitely became more social and this boosted my mood quite a bit, but I still felt like I was missing something when I went to bed at night. Fall of 2021 came and went, repetitive as always. Then came winter of 2021, when I came up with what I figured was actually the solution to my sadness. It was a podcast I created called the User Input Podcast, and it was designed to help people relate to each other and find happiness through relationships. I worked on it for a couple months, then lost motivation because nobody listened to it. The only happiness I really got from this podcast was when the TikTok account I had made for it blew up. I was always checking my phone to see how many likes the latest video got, but as soon as I put my phone back down, I felt empty again. Around spring break of 2022, I completely stopped working on my podcast, and in my mind, it had failed. Again, my motives were way off. In my heart, I was only working for my own happiness and money, not because I genuinely cared about others. Another failure meant another confrontation with God where I was like, yo, why aren't things working out? I thought you were supposed to be good. It was around this time when I decided I need to make big changes and sacrifices in my life. With every relapse and failure and depressing evening, I realized that I clearly didn't know how to live a happy life, but I figured God might. I decided taking God more seriously and began to try. I would try reading my Bible when I didn't feel like it, try praying when I didn't feel like it, try opening up when I didn't feel like it. I kept on trying. And for a while, I felt like I was at a standstill with God. He hadn't fixed my addiction for me. He hadn't given me a girlfriend. You get the idea. I expected God to make my life perfect simply because I read my Bible for 5 minutes a day and was trying to quit sexual sins. Thing is, I expected God to provide my perfect version of life, not God's. Until June of 2022. Around that time, I remember deciding to do absolutely everything for God, putting literally all of my trust in Him. This meant loving literally everybody, fleeing from all sin, not just masturbation and pornography, and living out a life with Jesus like I was meant to. This is when it finally clicked with God. I realized that sin wasn't just something against the rule book, but something that actually made me sad. I realized that trusting God with my life wasn't just a big sacrifice, but something that gave me comfort. I finally had a purpose for my life, to enjoy and expand God's kingdom on earth as a part of His plan, not mine. Ever since then, things have been going so amazing. This summer, I went on a mission trip to Belize and was able to help an amazing community while building awesome relationships within my church's youth group. This school year, I built even more amazing relationships and have been able to make new people smile every day. I'm learning how to live an amazing life with God every single day, and it is so much fun. I'm by no means perfect, though. I still mess up with sexual sin. I still act prideful from time to time. I still idolize my phone at times. You get the idea. I am not perfect, and I never will be. But that's the thing. I now understand that I'm not perfect, but Jesus is, and I get to follow Him, which is the sickest thing ever. I'm sad for at max 6 hours at a time. All I gotta do is pray for help and follow the God of the Bible. Then I'm chilling. God never disappoints, and it seems so overpowered. I mess up, but then I realize my mistake, and God forgives me the second I ask. Then I'm truly happy. I get to love everybody from my heart, and I am so blessed to have that opportunity every day. As soon as I fully trusted God with my life, He came in and changed it into the best thing ever. I have so much to be thankful for. I'm so lucky to have family, friends, a house to live in, a working body, this YouTube channel. There is so much to be thankful for. God has brought out the best in me, and I am so happy. He saved me. I love God, and I love you too, like genuinely. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one.